Casanova Complex. The Casanova Complex is characterized by a charming demeanor and a desire for numerous romantic partners, often without emotional commitment. Named after Giovanni Casanova, renowned for his conquests, it reflects a pattern of pursuing sexual encounters. Psychotherapist Jed Diamond links it to absent father figures, suggesting that men with this complex may seek validation through seduction due to early insecurities about acceptance. Icarus Complex. A person with this complex has an overambitious character whose spiritual aspirations surpass their personal limits, leading to detrimental consequences. Derived from the Greek myth of Icarus, who flew too close to the sun with wings made of wax and feathers, it warns against excessive ambition. This personality type exhibits traits like attention-seeking narcissism, a fascination for fire, unrealistic optimism, fear of failure, fascination with danger, and a craving for immortality. It's often associated with a constant pursuit of unattainable goals and immature attitudes towards relationships. Jonah Complex. The Jonah Complex refers to the fear of success or realizing one's full potential, hindering self-actualization. It makes people evade greatness and neglect their talents. Neurotic individuals often exhibit this complex, triggered by various challenges like career shifts or new life stages. It involves difficulty distinguishing humility from helplessness and stems from fears of responsibility, rejection, an extraordinary life, or appearing arrogant. Madonna-Whore Complex. A person with the Madonna-Whore Complex, identified by Sigmund Freud, perceives women in polarized categories as pure and virtuous, Madonna, or sexually promiscuous, whore. They find it challenging to maintain sexual arousal and may desire a sexual partner they perceive as degraded, while struggling to desire their respected partner. Love and desire become mutually exclusive. Such men may seek fulfillment in pornography, craving both idealizations. Medusa Complex. A person with the Medusa Complex experiences a profound sense of emotional paralysis and petrification, often triggered by the perceived threat of external judgment or scrutiny, particularly from parental figures. A person with the Medusa Complex may exhibit self-destructive tendencies and inwardly directed aggression, but also suppress emotions. This is believed to stem from disruptions in the early mother-child relationship. Castration Complex. A person with a castration complex, as proposed by Sigmund Freud, harbors a deep-rooted fear originating from the genital stage of sexual development. Freud suggests that boys, upon seeing female genitalia, may erroneously believe that girls had their penis removed as punishment, leading to anxiety about losing their own. This anxiety can stem from cultural influences, such as the historical practice of threatening castration as punishment. Freud posits that this fear plays a significant role in shaping human development. Don Juan Complex. A person with the Don Juan Complex views women solely for pleasure, often ruthlessly seducing them and losing interest after sexual conquest. Named after the Spanish libertine Don Juan, this complex reflects a hypersexual disorder or sex addiction. It is associated with a pattern of self-abuse and speculated to stem from factors such as poor nutrition, unhealthy sexual habits, or substance abuse. Unlike the Casanova Complex, which ends with promiscuity, the Don Juan Complex is characterized by a relentless pursuit of sexual gratification without genuine emotional connection. Authority Complex. Individuals with an authority complex display an inclination to submit excessively to authority figures while harboring a hidden tendency towards cruelty towards those they see as inferior. This complex involves projecting unconscious desires for power onto others, perceiving strength as external and weakness as internal. As a result, they tend to react to authority figures with over-submission, seeking validation and direction from those perceived as having authority. God Complex. A person with a God complex believes they are divinely chosen and superior, exhibiting extreme arrogance and rejecting authority. They refuse to admit error or failure, even in the face of evidence, and display traits similar to grandiose narcissists, such as gaslighting and lack of empathy. Rejection by someone with this complex is common, as they hold impossibly high standards. They may also disregard societal conventions and expect special treatment. The cause is uncertain, but it's believed early experiences and genetics contribute to its development. Martyr and Victim Complex. This refers to individuals who prioritize the needs of others over their own well-being, seeking attention through self-sacrifice. They often neglect self-care and may even harm themselves, driven by a deep-seated need for validation. While not necessarily people pleasers, they appear selfless by sacrificing their own needs. This complex can stem from childhood experiences, particularly in environments where victimization is promoted. For example, children with parents who constantly victimize themselves may learn to prioritize others' needs over their own, perpetuating the cycle into adulthood. Other manifestations involve individuals willingly enduring suffering in the name of love or duty. This behavior is often observed in impoverished families and in codependent or abusive relationships. Messiah Complex. In this mental state, a person believes they are a messiah or prophet destined to save or redeem others, often in a religious context. While not a clinical term, it shares similarities with delusions of grandeur found in disorders like bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. This complex may lead to a distorted sense of self-importance and a dismissal of others' abilities. Superman Complex. A person with the Superman complex carries an unhealthy burden of responsibility, believing others lack the ability to handle tasks themselves. They feel compelled to constantly rescue others, often taking on excessive work. It manifests as high achievement, perfectionism, and an incessant drive to provide for others. This syndrome fosters an unrealistic sense of responsibility and measures self-worth solely by productivity. Anxiety arises from the constant pressure to excel, leading to symptoms like worry, fatigue, and difficulty sleeping. Father and Mother Complex. A person with the Parental Complex may struggle with trust, fear, and emotional issues stemming from relationships with their mother or father. Originally linked to daddy issues, it's not limited by gender and can manifest in various forms, such as clinginess or dismissiveness, but these unconscious impulses may also be positive, manifesting through admiration or seeking out older father or mother figures. Clinical psychologists think that intense emotions trigger this complex, often due to absent or disengaged parents. This can lead to self-doubt, idealization of others, self-alienation, and even self-hatred. Savior and Hero Complex. A person with a hero complex seeks recognition for heroic acts, often deliberately creating harmful situations they then resolve. Individuals exhibiting this often display narcissistic traits, craving attention, and manipulating situations to appear heroic. Hero syndrome can lead to risky behavior and is exemplified by cases like Jimmy Pearson, a police officer who planted a bomb to later appear as the hero who discovered and defused it. This behavior can stem from an inflated sense of self-worth or a belief that helping others defines their purpose. Feeling fulfilled only when aiding others or neglecting self-care indicates a hero complex. Phaeton Complex. A person with the Phaeton Complex experiences a painful blend of emotions due to parental absence, loss, deprivation of love, or traumatic behavior. Those with the complex tend to be less sociable, flexible, and tolerant, instead displaying traits like ambition, vanity, sensitivity, loneliness, secrecy, and shyness. Napoleon Complex. Also known as short man syndrome, this is a perceived condition attributed to individuals of short stature who exhibit overly aggressive or domineering behavior. Named after Napoleon Bonaparte, the stereotype suggests that such behavior compensates for perceived physical or social shortcomings. However, research challenges this notion. A study found that shorter men were less likely to lose their temper compared to men of average height, while another dismissed the Napoleon complex altogether. Brother and Sister Complex. The brother complex refers to a sister's strong emotional attachment, obsession, and possessive feelings towards her brother. This can lead to idealizing her brother and prioritizing him over others. Even in romantic relationships, this can lead to sexual admiration and a tendency to choose partners similar to them. Women with a brother complex may feel depressed or jealous when their brother is involved with someone else. This complex can stem from family dynamics and social anxieties, with older sisters sometimes trying to regain attention after a younger brother is born. When the other party is a sister, it is called a sister complex. Cinderella Complex. A woman with Cinderella Complex has a subconscious desire to rely on others for care and protection rather than seeking independence. They might actually fear independence, want to be secure, and hate being alone. Women with this syndrome expect a man to come and take control of their lives so that they can live happily. Most of them are emotionally dependent on men and act very submissive. Peter Pan Complex. While not a diagnosis or recognized disorder, Peter Pan syndrome refers to individuals, often males, who struggle with adulthood, finding it challenging to handle typical responsibilities and maintain stable relationships. They may exhibit narcissistic traits and blame others for their problems while struggling to express emotions. Common signs include avoidance of commitment, vanity, fear of loneliness, and impulsive behavior. This syndrome impedes functional social, professional, and romantic relationships as individuals refuse to accept responsibility and rely on others excessively. Persecution complex. The persecution complex manifests as an intense belief that others are plotting against the individual, leading to paranoia, suspicion, and exaggerated claims. It often involves imagining threats even in mundane situations, like misplacing belongings. This delusion often accompanies psychotic disorders and induces complications ranging from anxiety to suicidal thoughts. It can lead to severe behaviors like avoiding leaving the house or acting violently. Both genetic and environmental factors contribute to its development, and it's typically resistant to treatment. Symptoms include persistent distressing beliefs, anxiety, depression, disturbed sleep, and low self-esteem. Inferiority complex. The inferiority complex is a common belief in one's inadequacy or worthlessness compared to others, leading to overcompensation, attention-seeking, projection, and avoidance. Upbringing, physical or mental limitations, and experiences of lower social status can contribute to this feeling. It can occur when feelings of inadequacy are amplified by experiences of discouragement or failure. Individuals at risk of developing this complex often exhibit signs of low self-esteem, feel undervalued in their peer group, and may experience symptoms resembling depression. Children raised in households with parents perceived as having high expectations may also develop an inferiority complex. Superiority complex. A person with a superiority complex believes they are inherently superior to others, often displaying an inflated sense of self-esteem and a tendency to belittle those around them, sometimes even exhibiting imperious and aggressive behavior. Despite lacking notable achievements or talents, they maintain an unwarranted confidence in their abilities. This complex arises from attempts to overcome an underlying inferiority complex. While striving for personal success is natural, those with a superiority complex inflate their sense of self-importance to compensate for feelings of inadequacy. Symptoms may resemble those of schizophrenia, narcissistic personality disorder, dementia, or bipolar disorder. Guilt complex. A person with a guilt complex blames themselves for all wrongs, feeling excessively critical and overly sensitive to others' opinions. They feel accountable for negative events, even when not at fault, and are also preoccupied with past mistakes. Factors contributing to this complex include anxiety, childhood experiences, cultural norms, religious teachings, and social pressure. These can lead to negative self-assessment and excessive guilt, even when one's actions may not warrant it. Subscribe for more videos like this one, and smash that like button to support the channel. Thanks.